Cheers to all you beautiful Irish whiskey loving people. Hope you guys are having a great Sunday. I'm having a pretty good one. Buckeyes won, Browns won. So far, it's been a pretty great weekend. So I am really excited this week to go over this flight with you guys. This is probably the second most controversial brand in Irish whiskey. It came out during the pandemic in 2020. I know some of you guys have probably seen the bottles on your shelves. The packaging is beautiful. This is Waterford Irish Whisky. Just absolutely beautiful cobalt blue packages, glass stoppers, terroir coat on the back. But is it any good? These are $100 and up. So I got the opportunity to do a tasting set, and I thought we could go over these and see if any of these are actually worth the price tag. So let me say hi to you guys before we get started here. Big Vic, cheers to you. You were the first one in here today. Cheers, Andrew, AMSRMR Whiskey. Cheers, Jim, Pinch Hitter Whiskey Lounge. Cheers, Andrew Butler. It's good to see you. Cheers, Brian. Hey, Slapshot. So the first thing I do want to do, take care of a little housekeeping here, is I'm going to pin this link to the top. This is, if you, for anyone who has not heard, sadly, Darrell's daughter is battling leukemia. So there is going to be a benefit on the 27th, please, 27th, it's Wednesday, for Hello Again Whiskey Friends. And there's going to be a lot of bottles donated that have been donated that are going to be auctioned off and raffled off. I donated a couple bottles of Irish, so don't be surprised if you see a Cologne and a 2-stacks in there. I think at last count I heard it was 60 bottles. So please donate what you can, and just keep Darrell and his family in your thoughts and prayers. Jim says, so this is a blind in that you're familiar with the samples, but you know what they are. Yes, it's not a double blind. I actually, and I do have one of the bottles. It's the Cuvée, but I wanted to keep it in here because I think it's kind of meaningful in the flight. I know what they are, but I've only had one of these. So this is going to be interesting. I do have some Waterford on my shelf. Thank you, Jim. It's up to 90 bottles now. Yeah, and a special shout out. Thank you, Jeffrey White, for picking mine up because the liquor store near him has the bottles that I wanted to donate. Yeah, this, I jumped on the train when it first, Waterford first came out in 2020. This is one of their first releases. This is Benow Island 1.2. This is an Irish one. But since they've actually have released 3 in the US. So I know people have seen them and I've seen the price tag. I'm kind of curious about it because it is younger whiskey. Cheers, Doug H, for joining us. Before we get started on the flight, I did some Irish whiskey news last week and I've got some feedback that people liked it. So we're going to keep that reg rolling. So I'm going to start with some Irish whiskey news. So one of the biggest things actually just happened on Friday that I found out, and that is the Irish single pot still legislation. So for those of you who don't know, to be considered an Irish single pot still whiskey, it has to be made up of 30% malted barley, 30% unmalted barley, and it can't have more than 5% of another grain. That legislation came about. There wasn't any legislation at the time. They needed something to put down. And unfortunately, the people involved in these decisions were the people making pot still whiskey at the time. I mean, it's IDL. Everybody knows that's who's making Irish single pot still whiskey. So they had a lot of say in it because, I mean, if you look at what they're producing, none of it has, I mean, it basically all falls in line with that. The problem is historically, that has nothing to do with how single pot still Irish whiskey is. The Irish Whiskey Guild, which is made up of all the other Irish distillers in Ireland, got together. They enlisted the help of Fionnán O'Connor, who is renowned Irish whiskey historian, wrote a book called A Glass Apart, really great book on Irish single pot still whiskey. And so they presented last year information on why it should be changed to allow up to 30% of another grain in Irish single pot still whiskey. It was well received, and we just heard back this past week that the government of Ireland is going to have public hearings and get public feedback on if this rule should be changed. So everybody's really excited about that. I don't know if they'll go outside of Ireland for any kind of public feedback. If they do, I'm all for it. So I will keep you up to date on that. We'll see if that happens. There's a lot of push to get that changed. Hey, and cheers, Tommy. Thanks for the Talnua tour hookup. It was awesome. Oh, I'm so glad you guys had a good time. I hope you guys got to see the Bowen cast too. Talnua is doing an experiment with Bowen Distillery in Ireland. And they did a historic mash bill that Bowen has, and they have some of it aging in Talnua and some of it aging over at Bowen in Ireland. So it's going to be really cool when that finishes. And cheers, Donner Pass was able to tour Waterford on the Monday, the second week they started tours. Looking forward to the future as the casts are older, and I'm wanting to say the prices will not increase. Yeah, I don't think they'll increase them necessarily. Okay, so let me add this. And so we could go over a couple other news items that we have this week. Let's see if I can get this working. Okay. So Cullen Distillery, which is owned by Powerscourt, announced that a new 15-year single grain, this is a Madeira cast finish, 41.5% ABV, and it's a blend of corn and malt in the mash bill. It's mostly corn. This one, right now it's only available at the distillery and on their website, but they indicate that it's going to have widespread distribution. Cullen is in the States, so this could be one that you see coming over to the US. Very, very well likely could. This would be Cooley sourced also. I'm almost 100% sure this is a Cooley sourced single grain. So keep on the lookout for that one. Redbreast PX. This one is back in stock in the US. So I am super freaking excited about this. It has been spotted in multiple places in Texas. So if you're in Texas, if you have friends in Texas and want to get ahead of it, start there. I've looked up our Ohio online liquor control website, OHLQ. It does say that it looks like it is going to be coming to Ohio. So I'm really excited about that. I'll probably get another couple bottles, to tell you the truth. At least I went through 4 first go around. This is really cool. This is only the second time that Redbreast has used PX in their finishing. The first time was the second Dream cask that they ever did. So this is big. It's the third in the Iberian, or the second in the Iberian series. So keep an eye out for this one. Okay, Redbreast Tawny Port. This one is in the US right now. This is the third one in the Iberian series. It's been finished in the Tawny Port hogsheads for 14-25 months, 46% ABV, which is right in line with Redbreast PX, Redbreast Lestow, which is the other two in the series. The feedback that I've gotten from this one, I've gotten that it's good. It's not PX good. It's not bad. Everybody likes it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just like, but it seems that the feedback is in line with kind of like Redbreast Kentucky Oak, that it was fine. There's nothing wrong with it, but it just wasn't wowing people like Redbreast PX did. So, and the reason I do mention this is because we are seeing a huge variance in pricing in this. It's been spotted everywhere from $100 to actually, I know in Ohio it's $200. Even people in Ireland are getting a big chuckle about that, because honestly, I could have ordered this one from Ireland, had it delivered, and even with the shipping, it would have been cheaper than buying it at the store around the corner. And I think when it gets to that level, that's a problem. And I think that's a problem that I'm seeing kind of consistently from Irish distillers. So your spots, your Redbreast, thank goodness it hasn't hit Powers, but the spots in Redbreast seems to be hitting pretty crazy. Kilco even says, yeah, $189. Let me tell you, the feedback I'm hearing, it's not $189 good. Cheers, Eric Gunderson. It's good to see you. Oh, you'll be in Texas next week. Yeah, look for it. Look for Redbreast PX. So far, everybody that has had a new bottle, the 23 bottles, they were found in Texas. So sometimes it depends on if it comes in from the west or the east. who gets it first. If it comes in from the east, it's usually Jersey that gets it first. One of each, thank you, please. I don't blame you, Coco. I do have a bottle of Tawny Porter. As soon as I get it, I'll do a full review. Told them at the distillery we would love a box of 200 ml bottles of a bunch of the farms, but not just bourbon casks, the different ones they're blending, so we taste the different farms. Yeah, and I think that would be a good idea. They did come out with this. I don't know if I'll show you in a minute about the sample set. And cheers, Wandering Magoo. Thank you for joining us. All right, so the next little bit of news. And cheers, Major Zero. The next one on the list is actually not a new bottle, but a new packaging. So this is Middleton Very Rare Barry Crockett. So this one is a single pot still whiskey. This one retails for usually about $250, $300. This actually I would pick myself personally over a lot of the Middleton Very Rares, not all of them. Some of them I really like the Very Rare better, but this is one of the best bottles that Middleton produces. The problem is it is also falling fate now to Middleton is getting rid of all those nice wood boxes across the board. They're going with, they said it's for sustainability. I appreciate that, but at the end of the day, it's cardboard. Cardboard's made out of paper, and paper comes from trees, and that's wood just all the same. I do think a lot of this, I think there is some of that is in part because they are building a new distillery that's all about sustainability. I do think that some of it also comes in the fact that a cardboard box is a whole lot cheaper to ship than a wooden box is. So you can't really see in the detail here. There is like kind of an embossing design. It kind of almost reminds me of like a Louis Vuitton or like a Gucci kind of print kind of thing going on. But this baby blue that's the new design. So moving forward, as stores sell out of the Barry Crockett and we'll be bringing this new line in, that's what you're going to start seeing is this blue box on the shelf. The Jameson Distillery bottle. Oh, okay. I'm glad you like it. Oh, thank you for reminding everybody. Yes, hit that like button. Everybody can find us. Say cheers, Candy Road. It's good to see you. So that is the whiskey news that I have for you. This box was actually just announced on Friday, so I was glad that they got that in time that I could share that with all of you. Where's my mouse on here? There we go. Hey, Bobby. Cheers. Thank you for jumping in here tonight. I know it is a busy night for streaming tonight. So this is the sample set that I got. I know this is available in Ireland. I'm not 100% sure. I doubt it's in the US because some of these are only Irish samples. But, if you're traveling in Ireland, you'll probably see this pretty widespread. And this was called the Explorer set. So Waterford came out in 2020, and they had Mark Renier, who is from Brooklodic, heading up their command and are doing a terroir approach, meaning that it's believed with them that the farm really does contribute to the flavor of the whiskey, that the barley varies from farm to farm. Now, anybody who's ever done a garden knows that is true. I mean, I've lived across town and put in a garden, and it's very different than when I lived in this house and done a garden. So that is true. This is a younger whiskey. I think part of the controversy with Waterford too is that philosophy of terroir. The finishes on these are not the same, so it's not necessarily apples to apples. So this Bonneau Island bottle that I have, if you compare that to the Hookhead bottle that I have, which is two separate farms, they don't have the same finishing. They're in different casks. So that contributes to, well, it's kind of hard to compare apples to apples at that point. So Waterford also, let me add this other screen here. they're also very, very big on transparency, which is a good thing. So this first sample is this Arcadian series. So these are the facts of the whiskey on here. This is the first one we're going to try is this, it's an organic whiskey, and it's called Gaia. So this one, I mean, they'll give you the name of the growers. You've got the ABV, which is all 50%. The number of bottles they made. This had global distribution. This is one in the US. This was bottled in August and September of 2020. You got the harvest, the distillation, the maturation. So this is just over 3 years old. It's not quite 4-year-old whiskey. It will give you the farm locations. So it's really, really cool that you can get that level of transparency in a whiskey. The problem is this 3 years. The ones I have tasted younger, which is a big ask for that price tag on it. So this tells all about the farm. I mean, you can actually visit the farms, and you'll see as you roll up to the gate of the farm, you'll see the Waterford logo on the gate. That is an area they're growing barley for Waterford. You can get, this is organic. I think this is like sound bites from the farm. So there's a picture of the farmer that grew it. I mean, it's kind of cool, the level of transparency that you get. But we're going to see if it's any good. So you get your barley yeast water strains, the different soil types, the observations from the head distiller, and here is the cooperage. So these are all the different cask types and where the cask came from. So it's a lot of information, and I like the approach. I do like the approach. It doesn't help that Mark Renier is a very annoying individual. Yeah, he was growing on me for a while, but yeah, he's actually not at Waterford. I think he does still own part of Waterford, but now he's at Renegade Rum. Yeah, if the farm is different, great. But if they use so many casks, was understandable for young whiskey. The flavors are muddled because of too many cask types. Just need bourbon casks. Completely agree. I don't necessarily even think it just needs bourbon. It just needs one. You don't have to vary, especially if your approach is terroir. Then make them apples to apples. I don't even know if the different batches. For example, I have Benno Island batch 1.2. I don't even know if 1.1 had the same casks. We'll see. We'll see here. Oh, cheers, Doug H. Or Five Fingers. That's Five Fingers. I thought I saw Doug H. Yeah, there you are, Doug H. I knew I saw you in here. Cheers, Old Pirate Bourbon. Thank you for joining us for this. So we're going to get into these and see if any of these are good. I want to make sure I call you guys. Yeah, I did. Okay, so we're going to start with Gaia, which is this one that we just saw. This is a combination of different farms. I think this is bourbon, but honestly, I don't know. Oh, there is a terroir. Oh, there's even a terroir code on these little bottles. I did not think there was. Shows you how much I'm looking. Oh, come on, camera. Yeah, there's a terroir code on here. Might have to enter that and see if I can enter that over here. Let's see the. Well, we'll do that on the second one. We've already looked at this one. We'll do it on the second one. So this one on the nose, you can tell it's young. It's got a lot of caramel on it, though. There's a whole lot of caramel on it. But you can smell the youth on it. So when I'm trying these and a lot of the youth that I get in this younger whiskey, it comes off almost as salty, briny, citrus, real citric. Let me know what you guys are drinking. Let me know if you're drinking a Waterford, if you're drinking a bourbon, if you're drinking another Irish. Yes, he did start the rum distillery right around the same time. I don't think they announced it until he was at Waterford for a year. I think it was after that point. I have not had the opportunity to try any of the Renegade rum. It's for sale in Ireland. I don't even know if it's for sale in the US, to be honest. Ooh, yeah, that's young. It's not bad though. There's a lot of caramel, a lot of vanilla. It's almost like those Werther's candies. You still get that salty kind of brininess. A lot of pepper, a lot of pepper. It's sweet. It is very sweet. It's very oily. Now I know that Mark Renier said that these are meant to have a little water. He actually said they designed them to be at 50% because they want water to be added. So I'm going to add just a little drop of water to this. Ooh. So it's still getting salted caramel. A little chocolate. A little bit of chocolate. I've tasted 3 Waterfords so far and not liked any of them. I might try again in 10 years' time. Yeah, it's kind of one I want to stick back in a cask for another few years. The rum sounds interesting. They're getting sugarcane from local farmers in the area, so same idea. Yeah, it's the same concept. And is it Grenada? Donner, remind me if it's. I think it's Grenada where the rum distillery is. Russell's Reserve 13. 13 I've not had. I've got a few of the Russells. So that little bit of water did help. Getting some figs. Figs are coming through. It's still caramely, but that caramel's kind of calmed down and there's a lot of figs coming through. Almost like cherries. It's weird. That's a weird one. I don't think I've ever gotten cherry. Well, no, I have gotten cherry on a couple Irish. Oh, it is Grenada. Thank you, Donner. Yeah, and so this first one is 4 years old, and I think the problem is it does drink like a 4-year-old whiskey. I've seen it discounted. I think originally it was like $119. I don't think I would pay that for this. All right, so the second one I'll enter in this terroir code. So the second one we are trying is called Dunbell. Oh, there. Dunbell. And we are going to enter in that little code on the back here. And I'm going to have to take my glasses off for that one. Oh, terroir code. Oh, here we go. Okay. So this is F. I think that's a 0, 0, 2, 2, E, O, 1, dash, O2. That works. Try again. That's not good. F022 E01. Oh, what? I put a. I see what I did wrong. Well, shoot. O2. F022 E. This thing really does not want me to be in there. Okay, well, anyway, we'll try it with the next one. So this one is the Dunbell. This is a single farm origin bottle. This is one of the ones that is in the US. I've seen this in a couple of places. I've seen this in Chicago. I've seen this in Kentucky. Ooh, there's a lot of caramel in this one. Drinking a New Holland single barrel rye bourbon junkies pick. That sounds really, really good. Considered Waterford, but the young age and over the odds price. Yeah, and that's why I want to go through this, because it's and I've got expensive young whiskey, but it's really, really good. Sipping a wee dream of Teeling Black Pits. That is a really good one. I'm still kind of kicking myself that I didn't pick up the Teeling Black Pits cask strength. Oh, cheers, Jake. I've never had any Waterford. I've only seen them on one site in the US. Yeah, they were out pretty widespread. I think it was 2021. And I don't think they've been big sellers. So I think you're going to start seeing them kind of geared back a little bit. I had so much Irish whiskey yesterday for the Ireland and South Africa rugby match. Yeah. Yeah, we watched that, and then we watched football all day, so I think my day ended at, like, midnight. Being able to try things at bars like Milroy's has saved me from having to buy a lot of bottles I probably wouldn't have liked and buy some that I didn't know about. That is honestly the best way to try it. Unfortunately, in the US, you're not going to find Waterford at a bar. I wish you would, but I can't say I blame them. E0102. Yeah, this code just does not work. So this one, I'm getting more of the vanilla. I still get caramel, but I'm getting a lot of vanilla too. This one, the nose isn't as strong as the Gaia. Now, this is a single farm origin, which means all of the barley was grown at one single farm. And I'm not 100% sure where that is. Since it won't let me enter the little code on here. I think it wasn't far from County Waterford, because I do remember looking it up on here earlier. Dunbell. Is it Dunbell? Yeah, Dunbell. Okay. So this is the farm, and you can actually they recorded the sounds at the farm. Now, I don't know how much that really has to do with the whiskey. This is where it starts to get gimmicky. And I think that is one of the problems with Dunbell, is that it does get a little gimmicky. Okay, well, they're not going to tell me anything about it then. Well, heck. Okay. So Dunbell is Kilkenny. There we go. So that one's in Kilkenny. So this one, the nose is lighter, and I'm getting more vanilla. So I don't know what the cask separation is. I would venture to guess this has more ex-bourbon. A lot of vanilla in that. Now this one's pretty good. This one is pretty good. I'm not getting as youth as much on this as I did the first one. Oh, cheers, William Hall. It's good to see you. So this one is more vanilla. It's not bourbon vanilla, but it's up there with the vanilla. And this one I'm not getting all of that youth. There's some apples. Still getting a little bit of lemon. A lot more fruit. A little bit of apricot. So this one, this has been so far of the two, I much prefer this Dunbell. Much better whiskey. I'm sure it didn't spend that much more time in the cask, unfortunately. Cheers, Troy. It's good to see you. Hey, Alex. Alex Bruyere, one of my favorite Canadians. It's good to see you, buddy. At Revolution Bar in Waterford, they have gone through so many Waterford bottles that there are huge chandeliers hanging from the ceiling made of them. They look very cool. Now, I will say, the packaging on this is top notch. And these bottles are very pretty. I don't know if you can see that it's a real pretty cobalt blue. They really think like Riesling bottles. That's what these remind me of, is those Riesling bottles. They're beautiful bottles. They really are. The corks are pain to open, but so I'm preferring this Dunbell. It's also 50%. Let me add just a touch of water to this. I totally forgot to grab my pipette before I sat down, but that's okay. I got this. We got this. We got this. If I end up wet with water all over me, I don't got this, but. So this is bringing out, unfortunately, the water. I think the water just with both of them is bringing out the youth more. I think it's bringing out that briny, salty, kind of lemon lime kind of thing. Yeah, that the water did not benefit that at all. All it did was add that sharpness. Ooh, won't do that again. So this is also one of the first times I ever actually have a dump bucket for whiskey, because I usually finish all of them. That being said, without adding the water, I did enjoy that one. I wouldn't pay $100 for that. I might pay $50 for that bottle. It's something different. I like like I said, I like the concept. I really like the concept of the terroir. I just don't like the price tag of some of them. Hey, cheers, Sugar Kitty. All right, we're gonna move along to the third one now. I'm gonna see if the terroir code maybe will work on this one. Okay. See if I can get this to work. If that doesn't work, then it's not me, and I won't feel so bad. 01 6 0102. Okay, this one is working. Okay, so the third one we're going to do is one that's called I think it's Rathclaw. And this is a single farm origin bottle. So this is 3 years, 11 months, 26 days. This was bottled in August of 2020. So this is one of the USA bottles. And this is from Kilkenny. Alrighty. We're going to give this one a go. There's a trick. Yeah, I've learned that you use your thumbs to open these. I've actually hurt my thumbs doing it. That being said, that's not the worst stopper that I've ever come across. The very worst stopper that I've ever come across is the Penelope Rosé. I swear those guys just don't want me in that bottle. They know I'm going to drink it all. Alrighty. This one's looks like it's a little darker in color too than the first two. A lot of honey. So this is vanilla and honey. I still do get some of that youth, some of that brininess. But I'm not getting it as bad. Not at all. vanilla, butterscotch. It's kind of like a more like a grassiness to this one too. Ah, I had yeah, Limavadi's topper. Yeah, Limavadi also has that glass topper. Glass toppers are something that look really cool until you actually have to open the bottle, and then you're cussing them out so bad. Hmm. So that one has a lot of pepper, chocolate. It's kind of like coffee. Oh, it reminds me of coffee. That's crazy. That kind of reminds me of a little coffee. So here are, let's see here. We have, this was Wrathclaw. Yeah, you can hear the sound. I'm not going to press play, but if you want to hear the birds in Kilkenny, we have when it was harvested and sown. You can watch statements from the actual growers. I'm good on that. The soil. See what this one is finished in. And there's the cask. So U.S. first fill. So those are bourbons. U.S. virgin oaks. There's some French oak. Some Vendu. So those are sherry casks. There's your composition. So the majority of this is first fill U.S. This is bourbon cask. So that's where all that vanilla is coming from. Yeah, it's got a lot of coffee. It reminds me almost kind of like a chocolate mocha. I mean, it's still got some youth on it, but the second two have not been as bad as the first one. That Gaia had a lot of youth on it. That one's not bad. That one's not bad. So far the Wrathclaw and the Dunbell I've liked the best from the single origins. Did not care for the Gaia. Now that being said, I wouldn't pay $100 for them, and I know that's what the retail was. Those two, you know, if you come across the clearance and you see those two for you run across them, you know, 40, $50. I would pick those up for that. It's interesting, the concept, all the information you get. And they're decent. I think Waterford's problem, and I think this is why the next two matter so much in the series. I think Waterford's problem is there's more distilleries now producing young whiskey. This isn't a new concept in Ireland. Frankly, you know, the cask sitting around for 21 years, that's not what Irish whiskey was. Casks were, you know, always sold with young whiskey. They were just you made it really good right out of the gate. You know, you filled your wine barrel with it and you took it and it sat in that and then you drank it. I mean, so young whiskey isn't really a new concept. Having it done well apparently is something that is just now coming back. There's a lot of younger whiskey out there that's really, really good. Blackwater, Peter Mulrine of Blackwater doing amazing. They have some really good stuff. 3-4 years old. Cologne, 3-4-year-old whiskey. It's really, really good stuff. So I think it can be done and done well. Cheers, Mark Vasco. Alrighty, let's go to our next one. So we're done with the single origin. We're going to venture into something new. So I'm going to go to, this is the Biodynamic Luna. Now, I have not had this one before. This one is considered a micro cuvee. So they take some of these single farm origin bottles and they blend them together. And I actually think that's where Waterford really does a good job. They're kind of masking some of the youth on these. I'm going to go ahead and pour the last one too, because the last one is the Kubi. And if you've got a young whiskey, you've got to treat it a little differently. I do think they're using quality ingredients. I don't think that's the problem. I do like that these are all, you're going to notice these are all very, very light. This is all natural color. So I do really appreciate that. There's no artificial color added. Unfortunately, those redbreasts that I showed you earlier, yeah, IDL uses coloring. So you never know if that's really the real color or not. Oh, thank you, Sugar Kitty. I need to jump on that Cologne wagon. I think I'm probably at the front of the Cologne bus. I just really appreciate what they're doing. So many distilleries now are getting so automated. They're, electronics monitoring every little thing. And they're not doing that there. He's still tasting everything. So that is pretty cool. And again, there's going to be a Cologne bottle, one of the new ones, in the Hello Again Whiskey Friends Durrell Benefit. I've got a new bottle of the Cologne coconut rum and raisin that I donated for that. So, all right. So we're going to check out this Biodynamic Luna, which I'm going to look this one up because I do not know a lot about this one. This one came out last year, or 2 years ago. It came out in 2021, I believe. Yeah. Waterford markets themselves as a single malt Scotch distillery that happens to be in Ireland, focused on local barley. That plus all the confusing cask selection is confusion. Yeah, I think, and I applaud actually what they're doing for, Ireland farmers, because they are getting these farmers to grow barley, and I'm sure they're paying very, very well for them to grow barley. I think the issue a lot of people have is with the casks, that they're not being done the same. So you really can't compare one to another quite as easily. Ooh, this one's got a different code. BB01. B0101. Okay. This one is called the Biodynamic Luna 1.1. And I remember when this one released, because the picture of the bottle was in like a pit and it looked like it had fish in it. So it almost looked like compost or something. I don't know. It was really weird. It was really, really weird. So this was done globally. Oh, I didn't know this was in the US. This was done globally. This was released in 2021 in the fall. This one is 3 years, 2 months, and 1 day. So this is the youngest one we've drank so far. Oh, yay. Good for me. And this is a combination of different farms. So it looks like there's 4 different farms in this one. So this one is uber organic farming. Wasn't really a big fan of the first organic one. So we're going to see if more organic helps. Ugh. Good morning, Waterford, old Waterford. Yeah, Donald. I'm suffering, so you don't have to. Yeah, bury a fish and a ram horn in the ground, magic barley. I know, right? It was just weird. It looked like the bottle was like surrounded by dead fish, or like live fish that somebody just dumped in a pit. It was really, really weird. Yeah, I completely agree. I think once you get some age on this stuff, I think it'll be pretty good. But all right, let's try this out. Make sure I got the right one. Yeah, I got the right one. It smells young. It smells really, really young. Yeah. That's when I start calling everything that's young is uber organic. They, and by they mostly mean Mark Renier, have definitely polarized people by talking up terroir and using a myriad of different casks, which one would think makes the terroir sort of moot. I agree and I disagree. I will say, and I specifically picked the Bonone Island because it was on the coast, and they talked about the barley actually getting kind of a film on it from the sea spray, from the salt. So I think when you compare that to something inland, you can definitely taste the difference, the saltiness. That being said, when you're finishing something in a different cask, because it becomes impossible to tell where the terroir begins and ends and where the finishing actually begins and ends. So I think a lot of it is hype. I think there is a sufficient amount of this, just marketing going on. Basically, it's being marketed. There was heavy marketing at first for this, and it was really hyped. I think that's why you've kind of seen it fall off, because people have bought it, and even hardcore whiskey people, Irish whiskey people like me, have bought it, and we're like, yeah, I'm good. I've got a couple of these now. I'm good, and none of them are empty. So this one smells young. I mean, it does smell like dirt too. It kind of smells like garden. Like I've got a bag of potting soil outside. It kind of smells like it a little bit. Like some hay. There's almost like a tea note, like a black tea. I am getting like some plums. And I just opened these. All right, I'm going in. How do they make it taste like dirt? It tastes like dirt. So it does. Actually, I'm getting peppers. It's like green pepper. It's not on the palate. I don't get the youth quite as much, thank goodness. The nose, it's really there. But on the palate, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's minty. It's really earthy. It's a little bit of the, use one of Steven's word, vegetal. It's not as on the. I was worried. It's not as bad on the palate. It's not that bad. Donald, I'm right there with you. This one or Hookhead have been my favorites. Is banana. Blah. But no, yeah, that one and Hookhead I enjoyed. This one isn't bad. The nose is terrible. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. Hey, cheers, Roscoe. Roscoe P. Coltrane. It is good to see you. Yeah, the nose, I'm not even gonna lie, the nose on this is hot garbage. It's not a good nose. The palate is good. It's different. It's not what I expected. I'm still kind of getting that mint. I'm not getting the youth as much either. So that's not bad. That's not bad. Cheers to what I hear is mediocre Irish whiskey for the money with an empty glass. Yeah. This has been my roughest flight yet. Whew. Yeah, Bonone Island, just bourbon cask would be interesting when it's 8+ years old. I really like the Bonone Island. I kind of get a little bit of key lime pie. You still get that citrus. It's a little bit salty, but I honestly, especially like when we go out for like Mexican food and you've had like margaritas and you're still craving kind of that salty citrus, I'll come home and pour some of it. So the biodynamic Luna, like I said, I wouldn't pay more than $50. That being said, for 50, I might pick that up. It's different. I didn't hate it. I hated the nose. Didn't hate the taste. Didn't hate the taste on that one. Yeah, it's all young distillate, and the finishing casks make most of it the taste fairly similar. I enjoyed the sample, so not much by any. Yeah, I have some that taste similar. I will say so this biodynamic that is a combination of different farms. That one I am getting some differences on. This last one, I know I'm going to get differences on because I actually have this one, so I know what it tastes like. And this is the Cuvée. So, and I should have grabbed that bottle. Let me grab that bottle real quick. Entertain yourselves just for 1 minute. Okay, less than a minute. So this is the Cuvée. Really, really pretty bottle with the terroir code on the back. This is actually where I think Waterford does a pretty good job is their blending. And I think you're right, because I think when it's all used, it's you got to do something with it. And I think that's why they start getting into these blends a little more. They're producing a lot more of them now. Yeah, I don't see. I mean, if I came across one that was cheap enough, that's probably the only way I could see myself doing it as well. To be perfectly honest, Donald, I'm kind of right there with you. And the problem was that they came out, and these were not cheap. These were $100 a piece, up and up. Yeah, the bottle's really pretty. The topper changes depending on the series it is. This one was a Cuvée, and they just did it to match. They had an artist come in and do a painting with the same for the label. All right, let me enter the terroir. I'm just going to enter the terroir code off my bottle since I actually have a bottle of this one. So this is LODESTAR. Well, that was easy. Instead of having to try to enter all those friggin' numbers. Oh, no, I missed something. Oh, are you freaking kidding? Star. Asterisk. All right, let's just start this over here. Because I am actually curious about this one as to what casks they used. And honestly, I have not revisited this bottle in a while. LODE asterisk STAR. So this one was released, I want to say 22. Oh, no, it was 21. Okay, 21. This one is a little older. This one is 4 years, 6 months, 10 days. This one, so this is about the same age as Two Stacks, because Two Stacks is, I mean, they're a blend of different casks, but that is also 4.5 years old. So this is a blend of 25 different single farm origin bottles. That's a lot. All right, let me pour a little bit more of that. I don't really have that much in there. These are samples. I dare say I'm not going to be drinking all of them. Much lighter in color. Yeah, exactly, Donald. Yeah, this entering in the terroir code is totally Brooklyn Classic Latte all day long. Yeah, let me see if it is different. No, it's exactly the same, Jim. It's exactly the same. But good question on there. I always think blue bottle poison not to be taken. Good one. Cuvée was my pick for the flight. Next day, I started blending. Yeah, I actually I have a dump bucket here, so I get to drink them all together. I might have to record a short on that because I'm guessing that's not going to be pretty. I can't imagine blending them together makes them taste any better. Now, if I mix something else in there, maybe that will. Hey, Mr. Great Shot, it's good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Terroir with 25 different whiskeys in there. What a joke. Well, you know, Donald, it can only get better. I don't think it could get worse on some of this stuff. Guessing you go to Middleton in Ireland. If so, the Farmgate restaurant was really yummy. Local farm, ocean to table, really good wine by the glass. I have not been. My husband and I are planning on going next year. We're getting kind of planning a trip with some friends. So we're going to be hitting up all these different distilleries. Hey, Christine. You just missed me choking down some of these Waterford whiskey samples. I had to pick a favorite so far. Oh boy. So far, you know, it'd be between that Wrathclaw and that Biodynamic. Like I can't pick that one because it tastes really good, but I did like the taste. The nose was just god awful. Now this nose has a lot going on. It still smells really earthy. There's a lot of earthiness to this one. A little like orange. There's some mint on this one too. You're getting like bananas. So they might have bourbon cask. You probably a lot of bourbon cask in this one. There's a little bit of kind of like a buttery cookie, but there's a lot of earthiness. And it reminds me similar to Dingle, but not that much. Yeah. They are $35 hitters all day long that sell for $100 a bottle. Yeah. Some of them haven't been bad. The Gaia, I would steer clear of. I would not get that one. A couple haven't been bad. The last one, I did like the taste. It's just the nose was just terrible. So if you had a sinus infection and couldn't smell it, it'd be great. I hope the new peated ones. I've heard a lot about the peated ones. I've heard the peated ones are really good. They're also coming out with the most peated one. It's like supposed to be the most peated Irish whiskey, like heavily peated. So I'm kind of excited about that. It's supposed to be like on Octomore level. It's peppery. That's weird. That's right at the front palate. It's real peppery. And chocolatey. A little bit of chocolate. Yeah, Donald, you're right. That did not hide the youth. Yeah, 25 farms did not hide the youth in here. And the youth is still coming through. Actually, ironically, more than the biodynamic. I expected it more in the biodynamic. So this one is 4 years. There's all the different farms. So there's a lot of them involved here. And there you've got Ballycoo Cabin, Bonneau Island, Dunbell, Sheestown, Wrathclaw, Ballymorgan Valley, Rathadon. I don't actually see Hookhead in here, which is the other one that I have. Which, I mean, they threw in everything else. You got the varietals of the barley. Oh, there you go. A lot of first fill bourbon. Wow, a lot of first fill bourbon. Wow. Heaven Hill. Jim Beam, Maker's Mark, Jack Daniels. So there's some casks in here. There's some well-known casks in here. There's Speyside Cooperage. That's just south of me. There's quite a bit of, I'm surprised that's quite a bit of Heaven Hill in this. So the composition, yeah, it's quite a bit of it is first fill bourbon. So I mean, like I said, I think for $50, there's a lot of interesting stuff. They're entertaining. They're really interesting. This has not been my favorite, which surprises. I have a bottle of this, and I don't remember not liking it this much. But all right, I'm gonna try to wrap this up quick because I know Kilco is going live. It just went live at 7. So for those of you who don't know, make sure you join 9 p.m. In place of Livewire Whiskey is Sipping with Chickens, which is Trish. So I'm really excited to see Trish back on. That's going to be a lot of fun. On Tuesday, I'm going to be joining Leanne from Scotch on the Bayou. And I've got some American whiskey that I've given her that kind of has an Irish twist to it. So stuff, Irish whiskey drinkers might like. That is kind of how Ireland's kind of gotten into America. Oh, Dingle, Grimm, and Faye. Oh, are they in the US right now? Oh, cool. Donald, I actually think my next Patreon giveaway is going to be Dingle. I have 4 in the new series. And some of those, I mean, there are some that I just don't care for, but some of those I actually really like. That's pretty freaking good. All right, cheers, hanging easy. Yeah, so if you haven't joined my my Patreon, you have one more week. Next week, we're going to be giving away a Friends of Irish Whiskey 2 stacks Glencairn, and I'm going to be giving away 3 samples from the 2 stacks Polaris collection. So it's a single malt, a single pot still, and a blend that have all been finished in red ice wine casks. So that's going to be pretty cool. Other thing going on, make sure you guys all tune in. Hello again, whiskey friends, on the 27th for the benefit. There's going to be a lot. I heard there's a lot of hitter bottles that are going to be given away that night. So thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate it. I hope you guys have a good Sunday. I hope you learned a little bit about Waterford. Yeah, I don't think I would probably spend more than $50 on some of these. Some of these I would. Probably the Dunbell. That Dunbell is probably my favorite of the night. The Dunbell was pretty good. That was pretty good. The Rathclaw was pretty good too. The others, I could leave, but thank you for suffering along with me. I appreciate all of y'all. Have a good night. Sláinte.